form of theatre where a team of players create scenes together on the spot without preparation and without a script. Business doesn't come with a script, and the skills and the mindset that improvisers use on stage, things like teamwork and leadership and communication and creativity and innovation, thinking on their feet, dealing with change and the unexpected, that's what we do on stage. And all of those skills, the so-called soft skills, are the skills that companies and employers want and need these days. So applying all of those skills in business helps teams and companies to succeed and thrive in a very uncertain, volatile world where things are changing all the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Diptii Shah and welcome to my show, Artistry. Today, we have with us Miss K. Ross, who is a veteran improv performer and the head tour guide in the playground of possibilities. Hello, Kay, and welcome to my show.
Hello, Diptii. Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure, Kay. Kay, first of all, for the uninitiated, what is improv?
Improv is a form of theatre where there is no script. It's played by a team of players who create scenes together on the spot without a script, based on unpredictable suggestions from the audience. and it's lots of fun. It's not stand-up comedy. It's not about telling jokes and being funny. It's about creating interesting scenes and believable relationships between characters. And oftentimes a lot of fun will emerge from that.
Sure. Okay, I have heard you say that life is an improvisation game. Could you please explain that?
Yes, well, in improv on stage, we call scenes or activities that we do on stage, we call it a game. And there are actually some underlying principles and a mindset that guide what improv performers do on stage together as a team that help us to actually do and achieve what we do on stage without a script. It's not just random chaos. It's like a sport. You play a sport like football. There are some rules of the game that everybody agrees on. And in improv, there are some some principles that guide what we do because there's no script.
Right.
And I've found, and many other people around the world have found, that those principles and that improv mindset are actually very, very useful off stage in life and business and work. That's a concept called applied improvisation, which means borrowing those principles and the mindset from theatrical improv or improvisation and taking them into life and work. And so it's all about things like teamwork and leadership and communication and creativity and emotional intelligence and handling change and the unexpected, which is what life and work are all about. Life is unscripted. We don't get a script when we wake up in the morning. We might have some general ideas or plans or, a diary of what we're going to do during the day, but we really don't know what's going to happen from moment to moment. We're constantly stepping into the unknown, and that can be a wonderful adventure, or you could approach it with fear and scary. But I prefer to approach it as a wonderful adventure and a playground.
Could you share some more details about that mindset that you spoke about and the underlying principles?
Yes, the number one principle that every improviser around the world learns very quickly is a phrase we call yes and. Yes and. The yes part of that equation means that we accept what's happening in the moment in front of us. We accept what our fellow player is saying or doing. Because we don't have a script, we don't know what's going to happen. We can only accept what's happening around us. what our fellow players say. Now, that doesn't mean we have to like or agree with it, but it means we're at least willing to go with the flow and be open to hearing and listening to what our fellow player says without immediately jumping into judgment and saying no or yes, but. So we accept that this is the truth of the situation in front of us. Even if we don't like it, we're willing to hear it and give the other person the opportunity to express an opinion, to say what they want. The and part of the equation means that we then add to it, we build on it, so that then that our fellow player has something else to bounce off, something for them to respond to. So it's a back and forth constantly, offer and response, offer and response. So that and principle in life means it's partly to do with mindfulness, I think. It's about accepting the truth of what's happening to us in the moment. Again, even if we don't like it, it's true, it's happening. And then building on it and finding something interesting or useful that we can use, we can build on.
Sure.
So that's the yes and principle. And I find that's the way I operate in life. I find it very difficult to say yes, but. Just even saying the word but in my mouth feels strange now because of my improv experience. So it's seeing what opportunities or gifts or insights are available in what's happening in the moment. Now, yes, of course, we have to plan for the future. And we don't know for sure what's going to happen because unexpected things happen. Now, those unexpected things might be, we wish we would prefer that they didn't happen. And sometimes those unexpected things can be wonderful serendipities.
Actually, it's a pity that most of our time, in life is actually spent moving from resistance to acceptance. To things that we don't like in our lives. I think so. And if we take this mindset of, yes, I accept it, and what next? What can I do about this? Then I think we would move much faster and be much happier, rather than, wasting that time saying, but.
Yeah, I mean, right. That word resistance is very appropriate here. Yeah, it's we can go through life resisting everything that's happening to us, or we can say, relax, breathe, notice, observe everything that's going on around you.
Right.
And then you're more resourceful about what you choose to do next, about how you approach the situation, how you deal with it.
Absolutely. The options automatically, start coming to you that, okay, this is my situation. Now I need to move forward. What can I do here?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And how can I add to the situation? How can I contribute, not just to myself, but to everyone around me who's involved in the situation? How can I contribute to help the situation work for everyone?
Absolutely. So, okay, this brings me to the next question. You also say that life is a playground of possibilities.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Thank you. Yes, that's a concept that occurred to me, that popped into my head in, it was August 2013. This phrase just popped into my head unannounced, delightfully. And I'd never heard it before, and I really liked it. And it immediately occurred to me that, yes, life is a playground of possibilities. The universe is constantly offering us opportunities, possibilities, adventures, sometimes challenges, invitations. And it's up to us to say, well, oh, yes, thank you. Okay, I'll have this one. Oh, yes, that one looks good. I'll have that one. Thank you very much. And, maybe not that one. I'll keep maybe for another time, but opportunities, great. And then I thought, well, okay, so what is it that's stopping us from accepting all the opportunities that the universe is offering us? And I thought, well, it's our thoughts and beliefs and stories about ourselves that determine, shall I accept this one, or no, I can't do that, with all our reasons and excuses why that one won't work for me, or why I'm not able to do that, or why I don't deserve to do that or to have that. So it's our thoughts and beliefs and stories about ourselves.
Right.
And I'm fascinated by storytelling and psychology and why people think and behave the way they do. So, long story short, I was inspired to create a card deck, a personal development tool, a card deck, not a fortune telling deck, but a card deck with 52 questions for people to ask themselves. And every question starts with the phrase, what would be possible for me if I did something?
Right.
So it's about my own behavior, not my mother, not my significant other, not the boss, not the government, but it's about my own thinking and behavior. And every question starts with what would be possible for me if I did something. And eventually, after much procrastination and research and more procrastination, I did a crowdfunding campaign and created the card deck, the playground of possibilities. And I call myself the head tour guide in the playground of possibilities, because it's inviting people to go on a tour of their own head, of what's going on in their own mind, and their thoughts and beliefs and stories about themselves and the world.
So, Kay, you told me that you have 52 cards in the deck. Are there any top 3 questions that are your favorite?
Show people what the deck looks like.
Oh, yes. It's a beautiful deck there. The playground of possibilities.
I drew that myself based on a photograph of me on a swing.
Yes.
In a playground in Byron Bay in Australia. Yes.
Right.
And the cards look like that.
Right. Sure.
Top 3 questions. That's hard. There's, yes, but I would say probably the number one is, what would be possible for me if I loved myself? If I loved myself, not in a selfish, self-obsessed, greedy kind of way, but just if I accepted myself. Because I find when I ask people that question or show people that card, that seems to be the number one issue that people have, about there's part of themselves that they don't love, that they're constantly critical of themselves for. And so just loving yourself, being kind to yourself, thinking kind thoughts about yourself, encouraging yourself, appreciating yourself, being grateful for yourself. So if I loved myself, that would make a pretty big difference in the way I go through life, I think.
Absolutely. Self-love is the greatest teaching of the universe.
Yes. So that would be the first one. Another one would be, since I'm interested in the stories we tell ourselves, what would be possible for me if I told myself more empowering stories about myself and the world? More empowering stories. Could be a story about my skills, my achievements, my wonderful qualities. Yeah, everything about myself. My history, as you say, my achievements, my goals.
So after self-love, it is about self-talk, what I tell myself.
Yes. Also, what my beliefs or attitudes about not just myself, but about the world.
Right.
Is the world a safe place for me to be? You know, we all have metaphors about life. You know, some people could say life is a wonderful adventure, or life's a and then you die. Life's a bitch, and then you die. You know, that metaphor that we use about life and the world pretty much determines how we approach life. Do we see life as a wonderful adventure or a prison sentence?
Right, a series of problems to be solved.
Yes, yeah. And an attitude that makes us feel angry about the world, or feel like we don't fit in, or feel like nothing's ever going to work out for us, or those kind of attitudes are not very helpful.
Right.
And yet, because of life experiences, sometimes people do feel that way.
Sure.
They go through life with that lens, that the way they look at life.
Sure. Miracle or misery, both on the
Yes.
extreme ends
Yes.
of the line.
So that was about empowering stories. And then another one would be if I chose to see things differently. So again, it's about the way you look at life and yourself, and being willing to examine your thoughts and beliefs and stories about yourself and the world, and if necessary, choose more useful ones.
Sure.
Yeah. So for me, it's about not so much about positive beliefs and stories and negative ones. It's, is it useful? Is it getting me the results I want in life?
Right.
Does it feel good and expansive and joyful? And everybody around me, everybody, the community, the world. So instead of having fixed, entrenched, blinkered attitudes and vision about yourself and the world, are you open to really examining your thoughts and beliefs and stories and taking action to change them, to be willing to be open to possible new opinions that are more useful?
I mean, this is about perception, right? And usefulness of what you are thinking every second, every moment of your life.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you notice that you have an unhelpful thought or belief or story, you'd be curious about, well, okay, where did that come from? Did that happen when I was 3 years old? Or and being willing to change that, because now, as an adult, you have the opportunity to change those old beliefs and stories. Yeah.
Okay, you've been doing improv for such a long time, so you have faced real life situations as well as make believe difficult situations. Basically, you've dealt with uncertainty, and I'm sure negative thoughts do come to you as well.
All my life, yes. Yeah.
So would you have an exercise, any tip for every one of us that we can use to change our thought, to change from a negative thing or a sad feeling to immediately a positive outlook?
Yes. Well, we could go to a psychotherapist for 10 years. Not knocking psychotherapists at all. And one simple little exercise that I do for myself, and I suggest to other people, is in improv, on stage improv, we have a game, an exercise called New Choice, which is about choosing a new direction for a scene or something that's happening on stage. And I've adapted that in my life off stage. When I catch myself thinking an unloving, critical, unhelpful thought about myself, which happens, I'm human, I say to myself out loud, new choice.
Right.
And I immediately think of a new thought, a more useful thought. I let go of the old one and choose a new thought. Now that sounds quite simplistic, but I've found it's actually very, very powerful. And even if I'm outdoors walking along the street, I say to myself out loud, new choice. And it reminds me that I do actually have a choice about my thoughts. I'm sure we're all familiar with the concept of mindfulness. And it's accepting that thoughts are just sort of floating through your mind. They're not fixed in concrete. You can let go of it and choose a new one that works better for you, that gets you better results in life for yourself and everyone around you.
Yeah, that's a very useful tip, immediately switch out of that, whatever is disturbing you, and think about a new choice, a better choice at that very moment, rather than wait for 10 years and go to a psychiatrist or a therapist and spend your time pitting yourself, whatever, wasting time in life.
Yes. And it's fun. It's fun. And you can take one single thought and you choice yourself 2, 3, 4 times in a row, because the more you do it, you go deeper in your subconscious, and your whole body will a new thought will bubble up.
Sure.
So the first new choice answer that you give might be from your logical brain, and the more you do it, the subconscious, the deeper wisdom will bubble up.
I'm sure. I'm sure the gut will start talking then, and we'll probably start
Definitely.
listening to it.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Kay, where can we find cards of yours? Where can we purchase these cards from?
Yeah.
And where can people follow you?
The Playground of Possibilities is the website. It's simply Playground of Possibilities without the word the, playgroundofpossibilities.com. My personal website and business website is simply my name, kross.com. And there's a page there about my improv and applied improvisation work and play. You'll find me on Facebook. The Playground of Possibilities is also on Facebook and Twitter.
Sure.
You find me on LinkedIn. But my email address is just my name, kross@hkstar.com, hkstar.com.
Sure.
People can, in Hong Kong, people can also find the card decks at every branch of Bookazine, the bookstore, Bookazine.
Right.
So and people can order a deck on the website as well, playgroundofpossibilities.com.
Awesome. I'll be linking all of that in the description box, as well as, on the video itself.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kay, for sharing your wisdom, sharing the knowledge, sharing the psychology, and using it, in a beautiful deck of cards called the Playground of Possibilities. We each hope that we can, use your tips and make our lives better through improv. Thank you very much, Kay. Thank you for coming on my show.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kay.